Coaches, Rick Stewart with AllAccessCoaching.com. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below so we can let you know when new content's been uploaded.
There's our post wheel wing route. We don't run really the switch route that a lot of people run. We run a true post. And the reason is a good corner can kind of cover that skinny post, crack and go thing and fall back on the wheel route and kind of cover both. And we feel like we're running this as a play action. We don't think there's going to be anyone in the middle of the field. If there's someone in the middle of the field that shouldn't be running it. So we want to run a true post to get separation from the corner, from the post to the wheel. So it's impossible for him to play in that gray area. So we run a 10-yard post, play to the middle of the field, true open post. Our slot's going to run a wheel route. His first 3 steps are going to be lateral. That's what we do when we arc block. So he's not going to get up the field at all for 3 steps. He's going to get lateral. We're going to make the wheel look like the arc. We're going to make the post look like a switch block. Our backside slot's going to motion and run a swing route. He's going to go 3 steps through the heels of the fullback, just like he would on the triple, and then he's going to bubble back. If we have 3 on the line of scrimmage, then he'll insert drive block on the attack on number 3. Our fullback most of the time is going to fake triple option, but he could fake belly, he could fake midline. We have the ability to do any of those things. And then he's going to fit in the protection in A, B, or C gap. He's going to read the first down lineman. Defensive lineman. If it's a 2 technique, he's going to read him for A or B gap fit. If it's a 1, he's thinking B gap, but he's still got to read because that guy could slant. If it's a 3, he's thinking A, but he's got to read. Now against an Okie, 0, 4, 1 for our guard is the 0. He's going to block down. Our tackle's going to base 2. So now he would read the 4 that's over the tackle for a B or a C gap fit. But he's going to fit in the protection. Quarterback's going to fake triple or midline or belly and then take a 3-step drop, and we're going to look wheel all the way down the swing. The way, and I'll go over how we read it when we pull it out. Our backside wide receiver has a read route. He's going to run a go route or versus 2 high or comeback versus any 1 high look. Okay, and we'll talk about protection as we pull it up, but we're on and aggressively blocking 1 and 2. Those are run blocks. We're going to fire out the ball. We're going to fit. We're going to drive them. We're good at that. 2 steps, and then we'll sit down in the chair and pop our head back. But we don't want to slide and show pass. We don't want to pass block. We want no pass keys on the play side. We're going to run block those guys. We're calling this, these guys have been told all week to defeat blocks, take the fullback, and we're going to get out and block them and fake the fullback and make them take their run responsibility. And then the backside of our protection is what we call hinge. It's just a gap protection. And way we do that will be talked about through this course. There's what it looks like. There's the diagram. There's no set alignment for this wideout. He wants to be as wide as he can that the wheel route can still get around him. So if he's in the middle of the field, he's probably going to would probably realistically be more on the top of the numbers. If he was in the boundary, he would be somewhere in here because that wheel route's got to get around him. Okay. He's going 10 yards to the middle of the field. Like I said, most important part, 3 lateral steps. Make these guys believe you're arc blocking. Then the way we coach this is he's going to run 6 yards to the numbers. Okay. And then he's going to go up the numbers. That allows us to run the wheel route into the boundary where it's very vertical, like a lot of people run it. To the boundary, it might look like that. And to the wide side of the field, it might look like that, okay? And it's all the same because their landmark never changes. 3 lateral, 6 yards to numbers and up the numbers. But that gives us the ability to run the route to the wide side of the field, to the narrow side of the field. And it looks like a different route, but it's the same play. And I think that's a key coaching point. The other point that I really stress is when we run our option, we motion, and we snap it about right here. He gets about a foot, maybe a foot and a half in the ground. We're going to motion all the way to the tail position here because we want, 1, to get him on the perimeter, 2, to get some rotation going. But then when we run the option, we coach him 3 steps lateral and then downhill. So when we run the swing, we've got to go 3 lateral. But now we bubble. I see a lot of teams will run this motion. This guy will just start bubbling deep, and it's almost a giveaway that it's a pass. So we want to be 3 steps here, 3 steps here. It looks exactly like our triple option. So as they're taking their reads, it's triple. And then we put the ball in the fullback's belly. So at this point, they see 3 steps, saying ball's the fullback's belly. These guys have all done the exact same thing, and these guys are aggressively run blocking. There is nothing on this side that tells the defense this is a pass. It looks exactly like run, and we're a triple option team. What are they geared up to do all week? What have they been coached to do? Okay. The only thing showing pass is the backside. Everything else is making it look like we're in the triple arch scheme, and that's what we want. So here's a good look at it. Here's going to be to the wide side of the field. All right, let's talk through the whole thing here. Right here, that's one. So our guard's going to come down on one. Okay, that's two. Our tackle's going to aggressively block him. Now we have three, so we're not going to be able to put him in a swing route. He's going to motion. Quarterback's got three on the line. He's going to make a drive call. He's going to block three. Okay, we're always going to err on the side of protection. They've got gap protection. If we have a tight end on the backside, he's going to gap protect too, unless we call him in the route. All right. He's cheated in, so the wheel route can get around him. He's running his post. Now this wheel route, this is a great example. He's going to go three lateral. Now he's going to attack all the way to the numbers at 6 yards before he gets vertical. Okay. And I want you to watch the separation it's going to create on this corner. Ball's in the belly. We're aggressively run, three lateral. It looks like option. We're creating great separation here and here. And we're going to throw this wheel route, and he's going to catch it, what is that, maybe 4 or 5 yards down the field? But that's how you can run this wheel route to the field. So you don't always have to run this thing into the boundary. I know a lot of teams will only run this to the boundary. We like to throw the ball where there's more field, okay? So here we're running it to the field. Quarterback's going to just throw a line drive out there. He's got all this room now to run, okay? So we're going to get, it's going to end up being a long play, but it wasn't that long of a throw. Okay, pass protection. Now, they've got their gap protection. The way we coach these guys is if their gap is threatened, they're just going to hinge to 45. His gap's threatened, his gap's threatened. They're going to hinge on this foot to 45 degrees, hinge on this foot to 45 degrees, and sit in the chair. We're going to launch this thing from about 5 yards. So we're not worried about edge rushing. We'll just wash them out of the path, and our quarterback will be behind it. What we don't ever want to do is kick, slide, retreat, anything that's going to open up a fast avenue to the quarterback, okay? Now, that's if they're threatened. If they're unthreatened, his gap's unthreatened, right? Now, we're going to allow him, instead of just hinging, he can step down and then hinge. He can post that with his arm, but he's going to keep his eyes in the gap. We're going to keep block your gap with your eyes. All you should do is step down, post with one arm, and hinge. If something comes in his gap, he's got it. If this guy works into his gap, he's got him, okay? And then our center, he's going to do the same thing, okay? His gap's not threatened immediately, okay, from the outside, but he doesn't have anything here. So what he can do is, the center's a little different. We'll let him, person knows, step into the guy right there with his left foot and punch, and then hinge this gap. Now, that's one. So he's just going to come down and aggressively run block, okay? And you see it. He's posting. He's blocking his gap with his eyes. He's posting. He's blocking his guys, a gap with the eyes, and he's down hard, okay? So he just becomes part of the slide protection effectively. And we tell him, if this nose goes here, obviously he's in his gap, you'll just come down hard, and then you'll fit and become part of the slide. So then we would have, in this case, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man slide. If we didn't have a tight end, we'd have a 4-man slide. Fullback is going to read first down lineman to his side, first D lineman. So he's reading this 4 technique. He's going to fake the veer. He's going to fit B or C, depending on where this guy goes. Okay. Right there, we're out. So he's just going to fit B right there. Quarterback's going to fake 3 steps, set his feet. And then the way we read this is and that's the only way I've come up with to read this, that it doesn't change for coverages, and you have to teach 4 separate reads, is we're going to look at the post area, then we're going to look at the wheel area, then we're going to look at the swing area. Right here, we don't have a swing area, so it's easy. You're going to look at the post area. If there's no defender in the post area, we're going to look to throw the post. If there's a free safety or a corner, somebody in the post area, then we're going to look to the wheel area, and we're going to throw the wheel. So what you don't want to do is just tell him, look at the post, because he may look at him and think he's open and not see someone get in the area. We know where our receivers are going to be that we don't need to gain that information as quarterbacks. We need to see if is there a defender in this area. There's a defender in this area, then we get off the post and we go to the wheel. There's a defender in the wheel area, we'll go to the swing. So we read it across in areas, okay? Okay, right here we're looking at, okay. We'll go run it up here, again to the field. Right there, we got three lateral before he explodes, before he works to run his wheel. It looks right here, it looks like option. Ball's in his belly, he's arc blocking, he's a pitch back. He's not up the field, he's not bubbling, giving it away. It looks exactly like option, okay? And we explode back, nothing in the middle of the field, we're throwing the post. Now, we have the tight end on the backside for protection. This guy can get a pass read, right? Because we are pass blocking here. If he starts to get in on the action, we'll just simply put our wide receiver on the backside, run that go route here. And now this corner, because this is the outside linebacker, this corner would have to cover him and he wouldn't be a factor. But early in the game, that's usually not an issue. If we ran this route again, we'd probably run it out of two wides so we could occupy the backside corner. Here, we wanted to opt out of getting extra protection. All right, he's going to be aggressive one. He's going to be aggressive two. Fullback's thinking B-gap fit. There's no three. We're going to get a swing route. Gap, 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 gap. All right. Now, protection-wise, his gap's threatened. He's going to hinge. He's going to hinge. His gap threatens hinge. The only guy whose gap's not immediately threatened is the center, so he'll step down, punch, and hinge and block the gap with his eyes. So we should end up with a little bit of a double team right there. And he didn't. He didn't do a good job. He's got the arm, but he didn't step down. And that's why we're not getting much help right there. Now he ends up on the right guy. Okay, wheel route. This one I put on here again to the wide side of the field. We've got the wide out in, so this corner can't get over. Now, we'll have some teams that will play like a 6-2 look and put these force players right up on the line. Now, they know that that's putting them successful with the wheel, so they're going to really try to reroute these guys. And what they're going to do here is they're going to reroute because they don't want this guy to have to cover their man team, a wheel route and take pitch. That's hard. So they're going to reroute him and hope they buy enough time for the safety to get over, and this linebacker is going to try to cover the whole shot, okay? And that would work really good if we didn't slip him right there, because then they would jam him. By the time he got here, he would be over, okay? So what we coach our guys is to, when this guy gets in the way of their wheel after 3 steps, we're going to slip underneath him. 1, 2, 3, boom. We're going to slip underneath him, okay? And now we're going to get still sprint to our aiming point at 6 yards to get separation on this guy and from all these guys that are trying to cover him. And what that did was create, he's man-to-man. It creates basically a matchup where now we've got our slot, because he can't get there, on the inside linebacker. And this kid did a hell of a job, but it's still an unrealistic expectation. Our slot should be able to beat an inside linebacker on a wheel route. Quarterback buys a little time, and there it is. And we just worked out a drill. We put a coach there. He'll stand there, and every now and then he'll step up. And they have to jump underneath them and run to their wheel route. Protection here would be 1, 2. He's fitting A, pre-snap. So that was a really good job right there. Good job right there.
Coaches, Rick Stewart with allaccesscoaching.com. I really hope this video helps make you a better coach. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button down below so we can let you know when new content becomes available, because we're all about coaches helping coaches. And remember, coach, better today, never as good as tomorrow.